listening to a podcast. Now you are listening to the Pimp Gas. You thought you were listening to a podcast. Now you are listening to the Pimp Gas. You thought you were listening to a podcast. Now you are listening to the Pimp Gas. You thought you were listening to a podcast. Now you are listening to the Pimp Gas. Ooh, we done stepped in the room. Slide me the microphone.
And you're here with your favorite podcast in the motherfucking world. But I can tell you, like, Scorp Huncho, talk to him, my guy.
Oh, man. I know y'all hear a lot of gnawing in the background. First of all, I'm going to give a shout out to Friday, who's in the room, making her first appearance on the episode. But you already know this is the #1 motherfucking podcast of all, I'm going to say all, no cap, podcast in the motherfucking world.
Talk about it, bitch. And you got the good old velvet hair, as you always do. But let me tell you right now, first off, before we get too deep, we do want to make sure we get a shout out to everybody that's sitting on the toilet, everybody that remembered to wipe their ass today, everybody that's listening to this podcast butt naked, everybody that's in the middle of intercourse while listening to this podcast, everybody that's in the gym listening to this podcast. If you're running down the street because the dog's about to bite you in your ass, shout out to you. Shout out to Lanopoly, sitting back eating Cheerios with her legs crossed watching a film right now. And definitely shout out to our guests. We've got Skywalker in the motherfucking building.
What up? What up, man? How's it going?
Oh, we're ready to live the dream in this bitch. Another thing, we got to give this guy an ultimate shout out because he caused this sound to happen. This is a sound I definitely appreciate.
Absolutely.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you wonder what I'm experiencing the IPA life first time, Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA. I did experience something juicy at first too. Then I got slapped in the lips by some Belgian type of taste. Oh yeah, this is a vibe.
It's good.
Now Skywalker, what are they going to experience today?
What are we going to experience today? Well, I've been told that I'm at your mercy. So I asked earlier today if I could get some talking points so I could kind of prepare for what I wanted to say. And you said that was classified. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I gotta go sit in my room and think of all the possibilities that you're going to ask me. So,
what do you think this episode is about, Score?
I just feel my drink.
I'll let you know that he doesn't even know. This is what we do.
I don't know. All I'm going to say is just let it all out. Don't be ashamed.
I've been waiting for someone to say that to me.
Don't be ashamed.
No, I'm not ashamed.
Yes, Skywalker came in ready to express himself. So with that being said, I definitely want to make sure we got the shout-outs. We gave Lanopoly a shout-out. Shout-out to From the Bottom. Shout-out to our Facebook group. If you're part of the Facebook group, if you're not a part of the Facebook group, get your device and type in Velvet Vibes Podcast. Click join, and then pull your pants back up. Enjoy the memes, get in the conversation, and argue. And call people sons of bitches. But don't go too far, because I'll kick your little ass out. Now. Don't forget, grab merch. It's all in the link tree. Follow us on Instagram, Velvet Vibes Podcast. All one word. Vibes with a C. With a Z. I'm drinking, forgive me. Vibes with a Z. All one word once again. And not to mention, if you want to send me some hate mail, 100%velvet@gmail.com. You may hear some chewing sounds that we've addressed already. There's a young lady named Friday.
Well, she can't shit up, boy.
The Velvet Vibes dog. Oh my god. Yeah, my work is really cut out for me on this episode.
Oh, man.
But let's go ahead and get to it. First off, I know by the time you hear this is possibly old news, but we do know that Larry King, the great Larry King, did pass away today.
That hurt me.
Yeah, kind of fucked me up. We gotta have a little moment of silence. Larry King didn't do what he did. I wouldn't have this microphone in front of me. So let's have a moment of silence. And now, with that being said, I have some cursing out to do of Pierce Morgan. Did you hear what Pierce Morgan did?
I haven't heard what he did.
I'm going to read verbatim what he... First, let me ask you guys this. If you feel some kind of way about somebody and they die, is it fair game for you to, like, just be like, yeah, he was a bitch anyway, or is it just kind of, like, tasteless?
You know what? The funny thing is, that just happened today.
Oh.
I was talking to someone today, and there was a instructor that I had in my course to become what I am today, and he wasn't necessarily the most decorated guy, wasn't the most upstanding guy, but he was well above me. And one time I came back to the grounds drunk, which we weren't supposed to do. I got in a fight out at the gate of the place we were staying,
throwing hands.
And he knew all this, and he decided not to report it. So I have nothing but most respect for him. A couple months ago, he ended up killing himself.
Oh wow!
And
condolences.
he did some pretty shady things leading up to that.
Oh wow!
But then I was talking to someone that went to the school with him, with the guy that I'm talking about, and he was like, "Yeah, he's a bitch, like all this stuff." And I was like, "Well, I mean, like me personally, he might have done some fucked up stuff, but like he looked out for me when I needed him to."
Yeah.
So I really have nothing to say, and he's dead. Like he can't counter argue anything.
Now, if you did feel some kind of way about somebody, would you express yourself or just leave it alone?
I don't think I would. Like, there's no point anymore. The person's dead. They can't do more harm. They can't do good.
You feel the same way, Scorp? There have been some funerals I just don't attend, but I wouldn't go there and say, okay, cool, I'm going to cuss the family out. I'll just, like, say I'm not going because I don't want to be fake. More like that.
Yeah, maybe I'm taking it from a standpoint of just an acquaintance. Now, if that person had wronged me, let's say like someone had killed my mom, and then he ends up getting shot by the cops or something like that, like, I might be like, that motherfucker got what he deserves, whatever, but like, I don't know. It's kind of tasteless to talk shit about the dead.
Well, let me tell you, you could probably see where I'm going with Pierce Morgan. Let me find his tweet so I'm going to read it verbatim. Friday, I see you down there wagging your tail. Don't start. Now, Pierce Morgan had this to say about Larry King. He tweeted this. This is verbatim what he put. Larry King was a hero of mine until we fell out after I replaced him at CNN. And he said my show was like watching your mother-in-law go over a cliff in your new Bentley. He married 8 times, so a mother-in-law expert is what he is. But he was a brilliant podcaster and masterful TV interviewer. Was he out of line?
He no shit said that? What did he say that on? Did he say it on?
It was Twitter.
Oh my god.
He have a whole lot of backlash.
Yeah, I got a reliable source. I don't know if you've heard of this source, but Hollywood Unlocked, basically kind of like Breakfast Club and things of that nature. They have the screenshot of the tweet. I'm sure the tweet no longer exists. I didn't go looking directly on Twitter because I'm sure tomorrow he'll be singing a song about Larry King and he's a changed man and all this bullshit. Talk to me.
What do you think about that?
He got a lot of bad tweets coming his way. That's all I'm finna say.
Oh yeah, I see the replies was on fire.
Right.
Like, yeah, this is a very left. I gotta say this again. He said, after I replaced him at CNN, he said my show was like watching your mother-in-law go over a cliff in your new Bentley. But he got married 8 times, so he's the mother-in-law expert. That was like unnecessary. It's not so bad, but it's pretty bad because he just died today that we're recording.
And so let's say I'm going to Google right now.
Okay.
Type in Pierce Morgan.
What he died of? Know?
That has not yet been released.
I've been seeing a lot of folks saying he probably died of COVID, and of course, they're gonna put it on COVID for everything. It's due to the pandemic.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering myself. That's the same thing I wondered about Tiny Lister when he passed too. But same thing, they said it's not. It's been happening a lot too. Not in this case, but it's been happening a lot too, where there's people that pass away and they just don't publicly like release it until, because I don't know if you're familiar with MF Doom.
I've heard of MF Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom. When he died, it was released this year in 2021, early January, but they said he died on Halloween night of 2020, and I was like, dang,
Really?
that's crazy how they were, especially as a celeb, able to keep that low key. Because we know when Kobe passed, it was like, like they said it wasn't even supposed to get out just yet, but I think TMZ just leaked the story anyway, or not leaked, but they had the information and they just was like, fuck it. We're going to go run with it anyway.
Yeah, they full sent that. It's all about views. They
Yeah.
don't care about the person's life, for sure.
I think, and I think that's why they do it too, because it's kind of like, it's like, cool, I have this information. I'm sure I'm going to get sued and all this other shit. But being the first to break the story is all worth it, is what they think. Yeah. And this is the world we live in. But I know everyone's sitting at home with the beverage. We're not going to get too dark. We're going to go to a lane that we always go to. I just needed to know, was I tripping for thinking that Piers Morgan is tripping? But now, since we have Skywalker in the building, there is something me and Skywalker, and there's a reason we're just going to address him in that manner, because we want to make sure he has the freedom to express himself. He did tell me, on numerous occasions, that he's a slut.
Oh, wow.
And now that I've found this out, and we've had a few sluts on this show before, and so I like to pick their brain to try to figure this out. So what I'm trying to figure out is, what is it that women are not doing this make you not want to be like this? What's stopping you from saying, hey, I just want to be a one-woman guy? Why must you continue whoring? It's got to be something that the women are doing, or something that they're not doing.
So maybe I had misrepresented myself, for sure. I'm not saying I'm a slut. I've always, as men, we like to quote unquote chase tail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, it's never multiple women at once. It'll always be like, okay, I'm going to go for this girl. If it's not going to work out, we're just going to, have fun. Proceed. And then get away.
Yeah.
And what are women not doing? I've had a serious relation. The last serious relationship I had was before I left for overseas, and it was great. It was amazing. Like it was long distance for about 6 months, and we had been together for about a year. And she ended up pretty much cheating on me. And then after that, it was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on myself for a little bit. Here about a year and some change later, well, more than a year, probably 2 years later, I'm just living life still. Focusing on myself, going on random adventures, having sex here and there.
Are you afraid of commitment? Like if a girl says,
no,
Skywalker, I want you to walk on my sky.
No, I'm not afraid of commitment, for sure. And I think that's something that most men yearn for. They might just not say it.
Yeah.
They try to be manly, and they're like, well, I'm just going to fuck whoever I want, and just never...
And then we cry.
But I think men do, deep down inside, crave intimacy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm not afraid of commitment.
This is... And the reason I'm asking, because I don't think you misrepresented yourself, but I think the picture's painted pretty well. But I'm tired of us having to take the blame and saying, yeah, we're just sluts and whores. Maybe there is something that we're not seeing, or maybe there's something that you're seeing too much of. Like
easy day.
Yeah, you meet someone, and maybe the conversation isn't there. Like, so a lot of times hot isn't hard to be checked off. You're like, cool, you're hot. Cool, we got that. But have you had some recent experiences with poor conversations, or you don't desire to be around there, you just want to rip her pants off and once you start talking, you realize like, oh, she's not really bright or something.
Absolutely, man. We see it all the time now. Do you gentlemen have TikTok? Have you ever looked at TikTok before?
Yeah.
So I'm pained to say that I have too.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty mindless, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can have a nice ass, nice tits, beautiful face, and you're going viral. Like, you're going viral instantly. You can literally just shake your ass, not even anything crazy.
Yeah.
You might not even have an ass, but you're going viral. You're getting all this
Shake
attention.
that cardboard.
You see the comment sections and everything, and so girls don't have to try.
Yeah.
They don't have to try. They literally just have to do one little movement,
Yeah.
and then dudes are like falling to their knees. And I think like, did you just say simp?
Six.
Six, yeah. Well, I would say simp.
Yeah.
Men simp over women now, and that's all the attention they need. That women need. Well, most women. I'm not going to say everyone. So they don't really have to put much thought into like what they're going to say to you whenever you go out on a date. They don't have to put.
This is a strange thing because it's kind of like, and I don't know if you ever felt like this, but I've seen like one of those Instagram reels where this guy was saying and you might have seen it before, where he's just scrolling his phone, and I know y'all just listening, y'all probably gonna say, well, it depends on who you're following, but basically he was just scrolling his phone, and every post was like a girl twerking. He was like, look, and he was like, I'm desensitized to it now. It used to be like, oh my, look at that. Now it's like because I have come across it, and I couldn't believe I just scrolled by it. Like, I didn't even like sit and look at it. I just kept going.
So that's the beautiful thing. That's one of the potential beautiful things about social media. It's all analytically driven. So let's say this dude was feeling lonely one night and he's on TikTok getting off.
Yeah.
Like a little fucking weirdo.
He's trying to get his cock.
He spent like 10 minutes looking at girls twerking, right?
Yeah.
TikTok's going to take that and say, that's all this dude wants to see.
And feed it
and
to
that's going to feed it to all these different social media things.
Yeah.
Like if you go on a not so proper website, right?
Porn.
That information is getting sent to different areas. Like, your information is being sold all the time. So this dude probably is just like, I fucking hate like seeing this over and over again. Yeah. But he's probably still the same dude that jerks off every hour or so. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it works. It's how the world works now.
It's crazy because like porn has fucked up my device, not in a virus way, but in a sense, like, okay, I look at porn probably once per day.
Okay.
And with that being said, when I'm using my phone for not that reason, I'm like, oh, I'm just looking, I'm editing a picture or something.
Yeah.
Those apps that I use that have like ads in the apps, they go to, it'll flip over to, are you a hot single?
Yeah.
And
that's what it does.
And I'm like, why am I seeing this ad? But I know, because I know what I've been looking at.
Yeah.
But there was a time I never will forget that I picked up my phone in the middle of the night, and I just picked it up to see what time it was. And when I opened it, it was hello, are you a hot single? And then Babe was sitting to my left, and she was like, what are you looking at? And I was like, no, this is an ad. Which it was, but I was like, shit, why is it like as soon as I open my phone?
It goes to your YouTube. Yeah. It goes to your Instagram. Sometimes even Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, we all notice. Like, I could say Nike shoes right now, and because of my job, I don't really care that this thing's listening to me. I have no privacy to begin with.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, gents, like, there will be a shoe ad that comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Here in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's freaky as hell.
Yeah. Have you ever had, like, a thought? Like, you just think, man, I could use a chicken sandwich. You don't say it out loud. You just think it. And then you open your phone, and it's like, Chick-fil-A coupons. Click here.
Dude,
and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I literally. So the other day I went to Jack in the Box. and I know that's a low. That's a low. I know, gents. But went to Jack in the Box and I looked and I was like, they have what here? It was like fried rice or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't say it out loud. Nothing. It was just like me looking at that fried rice and I was like intrigued because you know the brain does that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm telling you, 2 hours later, I get an Instagram ad for the Jack in the Box fried rice or whatever.
Wow.
Man, you see what I'm saying?
But it's like, I can't explain that. The normal person is not going to be like, I know exactly how I did it. But these people know you.
So, do you think this is real? Like, do you think like because it could just so happen, but it's to me it's so happened to have happened so many times that I can't just say, oh, it just so happened. Like, there's been times that I may think, oh, I could use a new microphone, and I don't say it. I don't tell it to anyone. I don't.
You search it?
I wasn't looking for it because I know, when you're looking for it, then it's like, cool, that's what you've been looking for.
Yeah.
And then I open my phone. It's like, oh, everyone who has a podcast should use this microphone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I do know though, if you're looking for stuff, it feeds everywhere else. Just like, you could say flights to Miami right now, and you could look it up, and then you could just go on Facebook and not even be looking at something like that.
You get 20 emails.
Yeah.
Like, Miami's nice this time of year. Here's what you can do all in Miami. And then you go on Instagram, and it's like Miami travel video. And it's like, they're controlling you.
It's so bad. Like, I bought some clothes, 2 days ago online. And I love that part of Instagram where you go and you look at, like, when you click search and it just has this area beneath that area that's kind of like the typical things you look at. I love that area of Instagram. And normally, in my case, I go in there and it's showing me like producer stuff and producer software and different things like that. But the other night, after I placed that order, I went on there and it was like, are you trying to get fly? Click here. Watch these Instagram reels. You're going to be a fly, man. You're going to have swag.
Really?
And I was like, man, I don't want you guys to ruin my feed over here. I was like, I placed that order. That's done.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get that many clothes because now you're fucking my feed up. But that's how quick and it was like instantly. I did that, and then I was on Instagram like 5 or 10 minutes later, and I was like, shit.
Do you mind if I take it a step further?
Go for it.
If we're talking about analytics.
Go for it.
Let's talk about current times, right? So, like, probably about a week ago, everyone thought that America was like this divided post-apocalyptic thing.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden Joe Biden gets inaugurated, and it's like no one's covering it.
Yeah.
America's united again.
Yeah.
All races, all sexes, and we all love each other except for the far right, and they're just
Yeah.
And but beforehand, if you were involved in any kind of movement for progressiveness and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, that was getting sent to your phone.
Yeah.
It's not Nike.
Automatically.
It's not like it's political. Like,
It's not just chicken salad.
let's surround these people with like social media oppression, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
here's examples. Here's all this stuff that's going on. You need to be pissed. You need to do all this stuff. And so, like, and I'm not saying that no one needs to be pissed about it.
Yeah.
But that's the power.
No, this is a fact. Have you seen? I forgot the name of it, but the documentary. It's called Social Dilemma. Netflix.
Is it the one where they talk about selling analytics, or is it the one?
Kind of. It's basically the creators of Facebook and some of the creators of Twitter, Instagram. They basically have them there, and they're talking about what we're talking about, but they're breaking it down to the point that they're just admitting what we already know. Because, we always say, oh, yeah, they're controlling us. But they're like, yes, we are controlling you. I knew it when this feature came on Facebook, and they admitted it. It was like, as soon as it came up with the Bob liked your post, someone tagged you. Because even when you're like, I'm not going to go on Facebook, when you see that, someone mentioned you, you're like, who mentioned me?
Your head goes on fire. It's like someone gave me attention.
Yeah.
In a different place. Yeah.
And the crazy thing, they said they put those things there to make you not get enough of looking at things, and they notice whose pictures and profiles you look at, so they'll make sure you see that person you like mentioned you, so you're like, oh shit, I have to see this right now. I can't just say I'll look at it later. So they put that there for that purpose. And the crazy thing about it is the people who created that, they said even though and this is scary, even though they created it, it works on them. So, and what's scary about that is if I do a magic trick and I pull a rabbit out of a hat and you guys are amazed, but I know what I did, it's not amazing to me because I know what I did. You're like, oh shit, that's crazy. But if I pull a rabbit out of a hat and I'm like, oh shit, I really pulled a rabbit out of a hat, that's kind of scary because it's like, it's not magic. It's not just a trick. Like the person doing it is also fooled. So that could go a lot further. You know what I mean?
It will. What were you gonna say, man?
I had well here recently. I've been getting people mentioning me on the Instagram Live, and I don't even know these people. I get a notification and they say they miss you, so and so miss you on Instagram Live. So I go directly to they live to who these people is. I don't even know these people.
They just want to throw you in there.
Yeah,
They just want to throw you.
I be having that on Facebook also.
I noticed this too. Instagram has it like if you just say you're recording a thing on your story, they have it pop up at the same area where you click done on your story.
Yeah,
It'll pop up someone's live, and you're trying to click done on. You're like, oh, I did the story I was trying to do, and then you're like, oh, I'm in there live, and you're like, shit, I don't want to be here. I'm just doing my own thing.
So I'm gonna show you something. Dude.
Go for it.
I'm gonna show you too. I run a meme account on my own fruition. I have my main Instagram and I have a meme account that I love about my job. And so in the description, in the caption, I say, "Can I help you, peasant?" All right. So nothing about COVID.
Yeah.
Nothing about COVID. But in the meme portion of where I made the meme in the photo or in the video, I said COVID.
Oh wow.
Look what's at the bottom of my post.
Oh, that thing.
The COVID information thing.
Yeah.
Nothing in the description.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's analyzing the image itself.
Yeah.
So if it can pick out COVID, can it pick out my face?
I believe so.
Can it pick out like where I am? Well, obviously even on iPhones, like right. So I take a photo right now. On that image, the metadata that's in that image, there's a location within the metadata.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, let's say I sent this to you,
Yeah.
and you were some like CIA dude. You can take that photo and be like, I know exactly where this dude was when you took this photo.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you post that sweet selfie of you and your dog and everything, your dog's getting fucking analyzed. You're getting analyzed.
Yeah.
Like, if they can pick out COVID in an image,
That's crazy. Yeah, I believe
that's
it.
how analytics works, man. It's
Even-
crazy.
And this may not be analytics, but it just is something more like watch what you're posting. Like, you know, when Pop Smoke, the rapper that got killed, I think it was sometime last year, when he got killed, and the same thing for XXX Tentacion, they said when he was going live, like, and it makes me think about things like this. Like, he was going live, and people could just see other things in the background, and they're like, "Oh, I know that area. I know where he is." And I'm not doing anything that somebody's looking for me anyway. But I have like taken pictures, and I look at the picture, and I can see my apartment door, and I can see the number on it, and I'm like, nah. like I watch stuff like that. If I do a video and like you could tell where I am, I'm like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, like one of these YouTubers that I watch, he just destroys cars all the time. He's called Whistling Diesel. He like buys like super badass like 100K trucks and just like runs them into buildings and all that stuff. People were able just to, by looking at his videos, find where his property was, and he deals with trespassers all the time. He doesn't broadcast where he is, where he's from, anything. And they're like, hey, I think a friend of a friend knows where that is, and they're showing up on his property. Like, that's the power of social media, man. I mean, like,
you know what? I don't know if you move like this, but I know I even move like this. Like, there's been times that I go on a vacation, and I might do a little video on the plane and stuff like that. And what I do is, instead of recording it on my story, I'll record it to the camera itself, and I'll take pictures and stuff, and I don't post them till like afterwards. And I know metadata, like you said, but I have heard of stories of people posting like, oh, I'm in New Orleans or I'm in Atlanta. And basically what you're telling everybody else is, okay, like, so he's out of town. We're going to break in his house.
yeah, I mean, I've never thought like that, but now I do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like,
my dad, he big on it. You know, he always said he love taking pictures, but he don't post until after he get back.
Yeah, when I post a picture, I'm not there no more.
I move like that also, you know. Take pictures wherever I'm at. Then when I get back from my destination, then I post it. Then people like, oh, you there, such. I'm like, oh, that picture, oh. I ain't even there no more.
I've even heard they say, which I need to not do this either, but my birthday is on Facebook. But they say don't put your birthday on Facebook. And for all you hackers and people listening from the dark web, I don't do that for my password. But a lot of people are not creative with passwords, so basically they see your date of birth and you're putting it on Facebook so it can alert everybody to tell you happy birthday. We all know why it's there. It says, oh, it's your birthday, and people say, oh, happy birthday. But at the same time, with you putting that there, they say other people can look and they can say, cool, I've got your date of birth. And you can just use your wildest thoughts of what could happen with that. Identity theft. They could probably figure out, what passwords you might be using and things like that. And I just think that's kind of... I've taken some of those like phishing classes, how people fish for emails and information and stuff like that. And I'm like, shit, I don't want you knowing my date of birth. I don't even like when I sign up for something and they ask you for stuff that don't matter. Like you could sign up for Skype or something and they're like, what's your address? I'm like, why?
Yeah, dude, at
Just
work,
lock me in.
At work, I had one of my bosses say, hey man, I'm trying to get this Nike shoe.
Yeah.
And it was dropping in about 5 minutes, and so I was like, all right, I'll sign up for like Nike, I'll pay for it, you just send me your PayPal or whatever. Yeah. I thought I was going to be able to get into this app super fast, but they're like, what's your date of birth? What's your email? What's your phone number? Like, what? I need security password, or questions, like all this stuff. And it's like, if we talk about analytics and you're filling out, privacy settings where, like, let's say you forget your password or they want to verify that you're your person, you're like, it's like, who's your first girlfriend?
Yeah.
What was your first dog's name? Where's that data going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they know my first dog was Murphy.
Yeah.
Are they going to, like, send me a photo of Murphy dead or something like that if they want to intimidate me?
In the world we live in. And if you know anything about the dark web, then it gets even...
Yeah, and that's something I want to know about. I've been hesitant to try to access it. And I'm not one of those people that likes viewing violence, and I know there's a lot of, like, dark web, like, really eerie stuff on there. Yeah. And I don't like seeing that part of humanity, so that's why I've been staying away from it.
See, that's why I stay away. And also, I don't really fuck with people that do that either. Like, I've had friends that they sit there and they be looking at people shoot themselves in the head.
Yeah.
And when I see those people, I quit fucking with them because I'm like, okay, if you enjoy watching this, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And if it's something like, oh, I want to see somebody shoot, I'm like, how do I know you're not going to be like, that's it, you know what, I'm going to shoot you in the head and just see. I'm like, I'm out of here, so I'm kind of off of that. But with the dark web, I am curious about it. There's stuff that, I've seen on movies and I've watched on documentaries that, just like you, like, I'm like, man, it sounds crazy. Like, I just want to see it, like, looking at a museum, like, oh, this is crazy. But I don't want to, I kind of know myself, not saying I'm a criminal world, but I'm just saying if I was there and I'm tempted and they're like, yes, this is how you swipe credit cards and this is how you break in the ATM, and I'm like, I don't even want to know that stuff, because I'm like, if I don't know, then I don't have to be thinking like, yeah, I'm about to gut this ATM.
Dude, you just sparked something in my head. Okay. So, when that dude got killed, his name always slips my head, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of under the influence, but it was that major police incident that sparked a lot of protests.
Was it George Floyd?
Yeah, George Floyd. I'm terrible with names. Sorry about that.
No, go for it.
But when that happened and all the riots broke out, we've got people breaking in to different businesses. We've got people going ham, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I wouldn't like it to happen, but they believed in something and they were standing up for it. But the weird thing was, I had never, ever looked at how to pick locks. I had never looked at anything on the internet on how to do like mischievous criminal stuff. And so I'm going on Facebook, and you know how you watch a video on Facebook and then right underneath that video to keep you engaged, they have recommended stuff. I've got people showing me how to break into buildings. I've got people like, here's how you break into a building with just a water bottle and a pen. And like it shows the exact like stuff. Like let's say like I have this beer can right here and I slit it in half and I can insert it into this lock and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like we all know that things are going on that are not the best for small businesses, for businesses, and they're just literally recommending these like, okay, all you need is a water bottle and a pen, and you're fine. You can get in. You can go destroy something. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, like
I've seen a couple of videos on how to break in somebody's car with a tennis ball.
Yeah. And you're like, what? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and see, that's why I don't
and
watch.
it says I'm gonna take 2 steps. That's it.
And they want you to click it and watch it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it, I'm not saying we don't have self-control. Yeah. But I do feel like if you don't know how to do something, you'll have even more self-control. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like if somebody said, hey, like somebody was telling me, like, yeah, I don't know the full stuff, but something about you put a magnet on the side of an ATM machine and something you need a laptop. And I just told him, don't tell me no more. Because it's like, once you know that, it's in your head.
It's like, I want to try this out.
And you're thinking what every criminal thinks. Like, shit, if I could just do it one time. I'm like, I don't want to think that, so I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, and when somebody tried to tell me, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like,
I
don't tell me.
done seen some more ads on Facebook, and me, I was just curious, so I clicked on it.
Yeah.
It was saying about how to, you know, with your cell phone, it's some type of chip or device or something when you go to the casino, for all the casino guys out there. Yeah, you use your cell phone and put it on side the
You set off the machine,
slot,
right?
Yeah, and set it off, and you can win a whole bunch of money just by that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I remember, like, I worked in a bank. We won't call the name of it, but I worked in a bank call center before. But before I worked in a bank call center, I actually almost worked in the bank branch. And during my interview, I saw somebody. This is the first time I saw money like this. I saw somebody open the vault, and they had the vault where you can kind of see it. And when they opened the vault, I saw them taking a pallet of money, all hundreds, a whole pallet. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want this job. Like, because I think that's what they were telling me. Like, we're going to want you to be like in the vault. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not saying I'm that guy, but if I'm not around this, I won't think this way. So I don't want to be wheeling a pallet of hundreds in every morning.
But just as you said, I mean, the things that are made to be so amazing in this world, right, are like money, cars, sex, all this stuff. But whenever you start seeing it all the time, it's like very desensitizing. So like, I think you would probably get desensitized to it, but once you get that first, like, hey, no one's here, no one's in this vault with you, like that gets a little weird. It's like you're like, all right, I'm not desensitized to it yet, but that's like $100K right there. And I see on a board that it wasn't signed off for, and like, and then you're just like, fuck, like, what do I do?
Your brain is tingling. Because I mean, I'll just admit to this: in my teenage days, I stole some hamburger patties from Wendy's.
Wait, what?
I was working there, and I took a few cases of the hamburger patties.
And then I'll get you out of jail. Don't worry. Wendy's is doing analytics runs on missing patties. They've been doing it since like 2010.
They're looking for me, right?
And now that you've triggered it,
oh my gosh!
I'll take Friday the dog park, dude.
Yeah. They might have to get me, but I was really upset that day, and I was in the struggle. I had a new child at home, so I said, you know what? I'm going to take these hamburger patties. And believe it or not, if you take a Wendy's hamburger patty and you can make hamburger helper with it,
Really?
You could, because I end up breaking.
Where's the fucking nearest Wendy's?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You see?
I'll take a box of your patties, please, frozen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. your mind is already triggered. But I remember I also got some of the chicken fillets, a couple cases of that. I broke that down, put them in some salads, and then I said, you know what? Maybe I'm not cut out to work in the bank. And then at this time, this was in my teenage years, but I said, I'm better off without temptation. If there's no temptation, then we don't have to wonder what I'm... Because I'm like, if I'll take the hamburger patties, I don't want to wheel in hundreds of... I don't want to wheel in $1 million. And I'm just like, I'm good. Put me in the call center. And the thing about it, when I was at the call center, I heard of people, you know, because sometimes the customers that would call in, it wouldn't just be Bob. Sometimes, like, I had a friend that he said, oh yeah, Fat Joe's on the phone right now. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I had another friend that Obama called in, and he was like, oh, Obama's checking his account. So when you see that, you got to control yourself not to say, cool, I'm going to... And to be honest, you got to be an idiot to see Obama's account and say, cool, I'm going to transfer this to my...
Yeah, that's a death wish, bro.
Yeah, you're asking for it. But what the point of this conversation is, control yourself. Now I'm about to take this to a place, and this is for Skywalker, but it's for us all.
Can't wait, man.
Because before I don't know how we got in this deep dark web of things, but I do enjoy it. But now that we're talking about bringing it back to being sluts, because we're not done with this.
I thought my transition tactic worked.
Yeah,
it did.
You took us down a great road, and then you reminded me. This is a question that I wonder, especially for our single Skywalker, but we can speak to it as well. Us relationship gentlemen. Can somebody be so hot that it's suspicious to you? And what I mean...
All the time.
Oh, you know what I mean. Go for it.
No, all the time. I mean, we were talking earlier today about... and this goes back to being aware of current standings. In the online dating world, you could match with some fire ass girl. Like, we're talking like the girl of your dreams, physically there. Maybe her bio's super dead on, but there's always a giveaway that it's a scam.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? It's like, add me on Snapchat. and I've done it. I've added them on Snapchat. And then it's like, all right, pay me like $25 for my nudes. And I'm like, girl, I was literally just trying to take you to Starbucks. Like, I was literally just trying to take you on a date.
Trying to take you straight to the debit card.
So yeah, sometimes it's too good to be true. Now, if you meet a girl in person, which I value a lot, we were talking about that earlier today, versus online dating and real dating. Yeah, I mean, people come with baggage, you know? Like,
Facts.
They can be super fucking hot, and then you take them on one date, and you're like, this girl is crazy. This man is crazy. Just for the females that are watching, like...
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too good to be true sometimes.
It's also, do you automatically feel like if somebody is that hot, do you automatically... And this is not a diss to ourselves. It sounds like we all got confidence in a room, but if somebody's... As the young people would say, so bad. If she's that bad, are you automatically thinking, I know you got options?
Yeah, no, and the thing is, they probably do.
Yeah.
But if you really take it down to like a low level, like this girl's banging, like she's super hot, maybe her options are way out of your league as a man.
Yeah.
But there's probably a lot of aspects missing about that dude.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking about females, like the hot female that, like, she's great, she's physically attractive, like everything, but she's missing certain aspects that you want.
Yeah.
There's probably the same dudes that are fucking banging into girls.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to hold a conversation. They don't know how to actually get into their feelings in a certain way.
This man is preaching tonight.
And you are more attractive automatically because you were able to tap into those certain things.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
sometimes
it's all about confidence.
Sometimes we have the same issue that a woman may have. Like a woman may be hot and that's the only thing they have, but in their eyes they may see a dude that he's appealing to them, or he has the limousine in his britches that they're looking for, but there ain't nothing else there.
Yeah, no, and
you're still gonna win.
And that's something that us as men, you know, we have to gauge ourselves in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard to do because you don't talk to dudes like that, so you don't know what your competition is, and so like you'll automatically like look at this dude, he's rich, which is most of the time going to get him because of security. I read something. Females don't look for rich men; they look for security. They look for like someone that's like going to be able to provide a good family for them. If that's only solely like based on financial reasons, you might not have the best family, but you'll have everything that the kids want, that you want. And are you happy though? Yeah. Are you having a man that's working his ass off to provide something?
This is,
you know what I mean? Like, and I think, and I see it all the time. I mean, they've got the Cadillac. They've got the Escalade, right? They take the kids to school. They're the rich kids and everything, but they're still like, you look at them, look at each other, and there's no like glimmer in their eye, quote unquote, or anything. It's just like, are you existing? Yeah. Are you okay?
Exactly.
Like, do you have that passion between you two? Probably not.
It's crazy because like a lot of times, in that sense, a lot of times us guys. A lot of women do it. Like they think all I brought to the table was ass, but sometimes we might have only brought money to the table or Peter to the table.
No. Like we I see you laughing over there. Like sometimes that happens, you know. Like you're just a dude that they call. Mm-hmm. She's just the girl that you call. And it should probably be disclosed off the top. Like, hey, I don't really want to like be in a relationship with you.
You know,
but that's a hard conversation, and I've had it happen to me. I've had it be like I hang out with a girl, you know, things get intimate, and I'm like, this girl's awesome, like this girl's super cool.
She tells you right off the bat.
She's like,
nah,
hey man, I'm getting over my ex. Hey, like not really emotionally available. I'm like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you. Well, and then they call you a savage, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm a savage. Like.
That's crazy that it's nice to hear that this exists, because I always hear that women say that they're like, yeah, you know, I'm able to have sex and not get connected, and a lot of us don't want to hear this.
No,
because we're like, it's not possible. In my experience, I've never seen it, but I am aware it exists. I'm aware that it exists, but I have been hit with the, you know, don't get attached, and I'm like, cool. That's what I was hoping for, and then it happens the opposite way. They get attached to me.
Oh boy!
But you know, sometimes we, as you said earlier, we do be simping.
I've been a simp before. I think all of us gentlemen in this room have been a simp at one point in our life, and it's funny to pick out certain things that you see other brothers doing that are just like, bro, she doesn't like you, man.
Yeah, you sipping out there.
I had that happen recently where I tried really hard for a girl, and she was getting tested for COVID. She didn't want to go out anywhere because she'd been exposed to it. Yeah. And I was like, I'll be your like certified burger boy. She loved burgers. Oh, yeah. And so I was just trying to be nice. Like I thought it was going good places, you know, like we hadn't had sex, like it was a healthy like build up, right? Yeah. And so I was just like, hey, one night I was just like, hey, like, are you hungry? I went to her favorite burger place, like wrote because we set up a virtual date, you know, because she didn't want to go out because she might have had COVID. And so like you can't just go on a date with a girl and not feed her, because girls fucking love food. Oh yeah. And so she lived right down the road from me, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna grab you a burger. Wrote a little note on it, said like, hey, I'm super stoked for our date. Here's your burger from Certified Burger Boy. We go back, we watch our documentary. Like, she's a super cool girl, and then it just goes nowhere. It goes nowhere, and you're like, why the fuck am I putting this much effort into something? And then, but then the funny thing is, when I realized it wasn't going anywhere, I went on a date with a girl. She called me right before I was going on a date with a girl.
Oh, they
and I told her, I was like, hey, like, I gotta get out. She was venting about some stupid bullshit in her day.
Were you on the date already?
No. This is like 15 minutes before I'm stepping off.
Okay.
And she's like in the middle of venting. I'm like, hey, I've got to go. Like, I'm meeting someone for dinner.
Yeah.
And that actually really upset her. And I thought I was going to get somewhere. I thought, I was like, well, maybe that like opened a spark in her eye. And then she just ended up being like, you just gave up. And I was like, okay,
she wanted you to chase
motherfucker.
her.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not a simp.
Yeah.
I might have. I don't think being nice to a girl is a simp thing.
Yeah.
Like, providing a burger is not like me bending over and having her fuck me in the ass. Like,
yeah. Exactly.
I'm being nice to her.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't work, if being a nice gentleman doesn't work, and you get upset that I'm going on another date with a girl because you didn't say shit or you didn't like provide me any kind of intimacy in a way.
Yeah.
Don't be pissed off. You know, when I explore my options. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. I was being a side piece for this young lady, and I was aware of her situation. She was aware that I was a free man. During the time of me being a free man, I was acting accordingly.
Yeah.
She said, I don't give a fuck because you know what I'm doing. I know what you're doing. I was like, cool. But one time she did what you should never do. Just pulled up. When she pulled up and pecked on my door, I opened the door with only you can see my eyeball and nothing else. She wondered.
What does that mean exactly? Like,
she
like
said,
were you peeking out of the door?
Yeah, I just kind of opened the door, like barely opened it, and all you could see is one eyeball. So she was like, open the door, and I was like, I'm really busy right now. And I ended up coming out the door, but I just like closed it immediately after I came out, and I was like, you got to get out of here. And she was like, why? What? Who's in there? I was like, I'm really busy right now.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you got a bitch in there.
And you're like, no shit. Like,
and she got in her car and she did the like donuts in the parking lot, and then sped off. And I was like, I was shocked because she was like, oh, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm doing. I know what you're doing. And but when it really came down to it, I was like, you're not built for this. So all you guys out there that think you're built for this, some of y'all are built for this. As this gentleman told you about the hamburger story.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are built like this. Some of them ain't.
Some of them be out here lying and say they can't take it, but they really can.
They get emotional.
I'm gonna need y'all to stop lying. I know a couple myself. You know what I'm saying? I done been down this road.
It's cap.
In my single days. You know what I'm saying? I know Skywalker said he couldn't handle multiple women at one point in time.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys that were trying to juggle 3 at one time.
Oh, you was in the circus.
So I had to give up 2 and chose the last one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, you know, but in my perspective, you know, I done heard, and we done talked about this so many times.
Yeah.
Me and Velvet was always told a little theory that if you give them solid sex,
Oh yeah.
you know, they'll stay in line. But me personally, I can't do that in my line of defense. You know, 'cause I don't want my name to be out there talking bad in the streets. You know. So.
yeah, dude, for sure.
So,
But that's the thing. Like, if you rail a chick, like you're talking like absolutely blow her world,
yeah.
all her friends are gonna be like, yeah, who the hell is this? Because girls tell her. I mean, just
yeah.
like men, right? Like, like let's say we're like the closest of bros, and I go over to a girl's house, and I have the time of my life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up as soon as I get in the car. I'm gonna be like, yo, I just railed this chick.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing. Like, if you do that to a girl, she's probably doing the same thing. And I've the friends that I have that are girls, they tell me that does happen. And I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, because sex is a big thing.
Yeah, these are the facts.
I mean, I don't had one chick.
You got your Yelp review?
We both talked about this before it happened, and she was like, "You don't tell nobody. I'm not gonna tell nobody." I said, "Okay, cool."
And then you're like, you get your charger.
They used to know. And I fucked around and spent the night.
Yeah.
The night it happened, and I woke up to her on the phone telling the whole thing that happened, play by play and everything. So I'm like, oh wow, so this is what we doing?
Yeah.
Telling her on the phone and telling her what went down and all this type of stuff.
The hell?
What the hell? So I'm like, okay, cool.
Look. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm like, okay, cool. You tell it, I'm gonna tell it too.
Dude, I'll tell you a crazy story, all right?
Oh, go for it.
So I have a really close friend, this girl. Really close friend. And she's very pretty, like everything, but I value our friendship for sure.
Yeah.
And so she tells me, what happens in her life. And it's very raw and uncut and everything.
Yeah.
And so she's in California. I'm here in Texas. And I get a call from her. Because she was super stoked to go on this date with this dude.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back to where we were. Like, you can be jacked. You can be like the pony boy of men. Right? Like, you can have the best job, like all this stuff. But I'm telling you, this dude had the best job. This dude was fit.
Yeah.
He was put together. And all of a sudden, after the weenie came out... And I use this vernacular, the bad weenie.
Yeah.
She had a night of bad weenie with this man. And she wouldn't even talk to him. Yeah. She wouldn't even talk to him afterwards. And she was super stoked. She was like, this dude's awesome. He knows how to talk. Like, oh, sex is a big thing.
It's funny you say that because I have a friend, the same friend that told me that you should give women that you don't like that the worst penis they ever had.
Uh-huh.
He also told me that, and this works for him, but it's not really something I really believe in. He said he's an older guy. He's like maybe 40 or something.
Uh-huh.
And he said he doesn't have time to be breaking a sweat with these bitches, is his theory. So he says every time he does it, he said he gives them like 3 seconds of loving. And I was like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. You don't want to be breaking your back and all that stuff. You're just like, let's just do it. And he said most of the time he just gets domed up or whatever. He don't do the whole sex thing. He's just
shit. This man's a savage.
Yeah. But he says when he does actually have sex, he has it for like 7 to 10 seconds. And he said he just like lets it go. And he said,
that's kind of fucked up.
he said he's capable of doing more, but he refuses to do it. And I asked him, my question was like, do you fear that she'll cheat on you? And his theory is, if you give girls good sex on the holidays, you'll be fine. He was like, because if a girl loves you so much, they'll excuse stuff. They'll say, well, he's really nice. He buys me gifts. He always remembers my birthday, but he's not really certified in that department.
Wait, so you're telling me this man is giving bad weenie
on a daily
to his woman?
Yeah, he said he just gives it to her on Valentine's, anniversary, Christmas, stuff like that.
It's kind of fucked up.
He said he'll drink Hennessy and provide his best performance on those days.
His best flaccid weenie.
Yeah,
we've all been there as well.
And with this is a moment of confessions we're gonna have before we wrap this up. We have to have a confessional. Now, I've talked about this with numerous people off the set, but I don't think we've had this conversation. What's the fastest that you have released your children into the world?
That's a good question, man.
We've talked about a day you couldn't get it up, but we didn't talk about how long were you in there before you said, yeah.
So me, the person I am,
we're gonna be honest here.
I do research before I do these things. All right, so before I even had sex for the first time, I was looking up how to do it. I went to multiple places. I mean, my dad did not give me the best, blueprint of how to do it.
There.
Which I think I will do with my children. Once they get to their real age, I'm just gonna be like, "Yo, dude, like you need to get in there if you need to." You know what I mean?
Are you gonna try to help perfect their strokes or what?
No, dude, I wasn't looking at shit like that. I was looking at, like, how do you last the longest? Because when I was in, I did this in, freshman year of high school. That was when I lost my virginity.
Yeah.
It had already been talked about all through middle school.
Yeah.
But those people that did that were, like, shunned. It's just where, like, I had grown up. That's the thing. But it got to that point. I was coming home from California, and we stopped at a gas station. My parents were driving me.
Oh, wow.
We stopped at a gas station, and the girl I was talking to at the time, she's a longtime girlfriend. I mean, at that age, I don't know if we would call that a girlfriend, but we were talking.
Yeah.
We were like, let's do this. So we stop at a gas station, right? It's that East Texas gas station that has the condom dispenser.
Yeah, in the
right?
restroom.
So I'm like,
Drop your little quarter in there.
So I'm like, hey, Dad, there's this machine in there that if I drop a quarter or a couple in there, it might give me $100 bill. Like, I want to try this. And he's like, oh, good job, man. Like, yeah, just go. And then he gives me 4 quarters, right? And so I drop one or two into the machine.
Yeah.
Came back with more quarters. And I bought 2 condoms in the gas station bathroom. They were, I don't know what they call them in there, but it's something crazy. It's like Rhino Power or something like that. Yeah. It's obviously like a condom that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just like the girl asks you, do you have a condom? And you break out this like
Rhino
thin
Power.
piece of like saran wrap. And you're like, yeah, I have a condom.
Oh
But I buy one, and I'm obviously ignorant of this fact. I buy one. And the whole way home, I had my iPhone 4.
Oh,
And my iPhone 4 with internet capability. And I'm like, how the fuck do I rail a girl? Like, how do I do this? And they're like, all right, when you're in there, just think of something crazy. Like an ice cream cone or a penguin or something like that. Yeah, no, you just gotta, like, you're in there and you're, like, telling yourself in your brain, like, ice cream cone. Beagle.
Yeah. Yeah. Chicken.
Polar bear.
Yeah.
And it keeps your mind off of things. And so, like, probably the shortest, because I learned that tidbit, the shortest I've gone is probably, it didn't really advance my skills, but probably about 4 minutes. I mean, and for my first time, 4 minutes, probably not the worst.
Yeah. This was.
But I was like, it was. I couldn't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
I was just like ice cream cone, penguin, polar bear. Like I'm just thinking these random things in my head. And so I probably, if I would have not done that, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit better because I would have focused on her.
Oh, the thing about it, we all do that, but this is the most extreme version of it that I've heard. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna just get mine out the way because I don't want to be last on this.
Wait, was that really extreme though?
That was pretty extreme.
Really?
Because
I feel like every man does that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We all do it, but it seems like yours was a little Tourette syndrome style. It's like polar bear. It's like you, even though you were thinking about something else, you didn't have the control. So it was still like,
dude, it was my first time. A little bit different than your hand, all right?
Yeah, that is a fact. Because when we do it to our hand, we have nothing to prove. There's been times with our hands where we've all had 45 seconds. We just said, shit, I'm not finna light no candle. I'm not finna do all this throwing the R. Kelly song.
I'm gonna draw a bath.
Yeah, it's just like, just get to it. You know what the goal is. But I've had worst time ever. And this is, I hope this is not your last time hearing this podcast after I say this. Instantly.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, like
Less than a minute.
what is define instantly? Because you got to get a couple strokes in at least.
I didn't get no strokes in.
No. Are you hearing this, dude? No strokes.
But it was like
Sticky and go.
you know when you, I've always been bad at this. I'm really bad about foreplay. Like I'm not against foreplay. But
That's the most important part.
Yeah, but it was one of those times when it was like a lot of build up, and it was
Too excited.
It was something that I had an American Pie moment. You know, you know when you keep talking about it like, oh, it's gonna be so crazy. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and all this other shit. So when the day came, like I wish I was lying. At the same moment that I placed it in my hand and I was opening the door, I said, "Whoa!" And I was like, all right, there we go.
Your co-host that's been with you forever is like, wait a minute, what? This is where I get interested.
You never had this this moment?
Wait a minute.
Scorp, you never had 0 strokes?
I done had some strokes now.
I had 0 strokes this night.
That's the great
We're just being honest.
famous underground king of comedy said, Kate Williams. He said, y'all gotta think of something else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He said on his shows they do some ABCs or count some numbers or something. Focus on other shit
Yeah.
to keep your mind off of it. You know, I tried that, and you know, like you said,
Penguins.
you get too excited. You know what I'm saying? Like you playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
So, you know, me, I try to lift the TV on. I try to focus on watching whatever's on the TV
Yeah.
to keep my mind focused. You know what I'm saying? But for me, my thing is.
But when the pastor pops on the TV.
But no, you're not going there. But my thing is with me, it's like.
It's kind of rough.
Wait, you had the pastor on the TV?
No. I'm finna clear that up. I do not have no pastor on the TV. Okay.
You're like, hold on, babe. I need to turn on my favorite programming. It gets me in the mood.
No. Finna clear it up. No.
That happened to me, though.
You love doing it, don't you? I want to throw some gospel in the middle of 6. But, you know, I try to focus on other things, but, you know, me personally, you know, I try to focus on her, getting hers, and, you know, by me focusing on her getting hers, then that's when I'll get mine instead. And I'm like, I gotta stop doing it.
But on your worst day, how many seconds was it? It was the worst day of your life.
I would say, I ain't gonna lie. My worst moment is the 1 minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was you
I get upset with myself, you know.
You had to have a talk with yourself.
I had to have a talk with her also. You know what I'm saying? You turn me into a 1 minute man. I don't like that, you know. But
was she offended or proud?
hey,
because sometimes they be proud of this.
Sometimes I don't say nothing.
You just want the bed.
No, I don't say nothing until after she get hers. I still keep going.
Oh, you don't tell her she humping a gummy worm?
It don't be like that all the time. But after I get mine, normally I don't say nothing. I just keep going. I slow down for a minute, then go back into it. And then she asked, "Did you get to it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh,
and she's like, "Oh, I was wondering because you kept on going."
Yeah.
Like,
they be all shocked by that.
Yeah. But me personally, like I said, I gotta start thinking about, you know, focusing on her until her get hers.
Yeah.
And that's when I wind up getting mine instead.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And I'm gonna wrap it up after this. But I learned that about myself. I one time had this person that I could never, like, I was mad at myself because I could never make them achieve their goal. And it was like every time we did it, she kept saying, "Oh, I'm about to do it." And for some reason that does something to me. Like when I hear that, it's like my body says, "Oh, cool, you're about to do it? Cool, I'm going to do it too." And I guess because I want to do it together. But it's like every time she said that, she was like, "Oh, I'm about to do it." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And she was like, "Oh, I didn't do it. I was about to do it." And so I had to be like, quit making that announcement until it's like you're about to do it right at that moment. And she was making the announcement like a couple seconds too early. So I had to start doing Dr. Skywalker's technique. She was saying, "I'm about to do it." And that's when I would definitely even more say, "Raisin Bran, Polar Bear." And then like I'll do it even more. And then like it was crazy because I think one time I went like a solid week of failing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like it's every time.
Yeah, dude.
And then when that day came that I did that, and I was like, I'm gonna hold back. And she was like, "I'm about to do it." I was like, "You're lying, bitch. You're lying."
You're just like, shut your mouth, dude. Like, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah. And then once it happened, I was like, "Oh, it's happened." And I felt like I went home and I pulled up Microsoft Word and I made a little certificate for myself. I printed it out and I just stuck it on my wall for a little while. He has made an achievement. I just placed that on the wall.
Would you say that's natural, though? That it takes a couple, like, even with a brand new, like, let's say you do it to a certain girl. She finally does the unspeakable, and you're able to achieve the goal. Because, I mean, it's hard for us dudes, because as soon as the goal is about to be achieved, things get tighter.
Yeah.
It makes it worse for us. But I think it starts over with every girl.
Yeah,
I think it really, because no girl's the same.
I think we are creatures of habit. I always say this.
We are.
So we'll be talking to some chick. We'll find the key to success, and once we got it down, we're like, oh, every time I do that, it's a wrap. Every time. And then if things don't work with that person, and you meet somebody else, and you start doing the trick that you were doing on the other person, it don't work for this one. You're like, oh yeah, well, this chick, I used to just do this. Now this one, you're doing that, and it has no effect. And you're like, oh, fuck. There's, we've all met people that say, oh, it never came in my life. Or we've met people that they say, oh, it's really hard for it to happen. And you met people that they're like, oh, it only happens when I get ate out. And then we have people that say, I don't want to get ate out. So it's just like, so many different things.
I came across it when I moved to Texas.
Texas must be another beast, man.
Yeah.
I came across a lot of women like that in Texas.
What, that never had it? Or
they never had an orgasm, never know what an orgasm feel like. I'm like, what in the hell?
I read on a blog that a third of women have never had an orgasm in their life.
Yeah. No, it's a real. It sucks. Yeah. It sucks for them. Like, why is it not so easy for them? I don't get it.
One back at home, but everybody else that I met is right here in Texas.
It's crazy though, because I think like the ones that's like that, I think those are probably the one that's like super savage in a relationship, because they're like they probably are the ones that don't want to do it as much, because they're like, you got to think. We've had times we don't get there. We're cool if it happened once or twice. But if you have that day, like if this was like the norm, like every time you do it, you would eventually be like, I don't want to do it, because why? Like, you're not going to do that every day. So then you're going to get to the point where you're like, oh, babe, I just want to watch the movie. I don't want to do it. You know?
And that's why that is important. Yeah. That's why sex is important. And it sucks that people, whenever you talk about sex, they shun away, or they act like that's not even a thing when they know it's a thing. Yeah. It shouldn't be a taboo subject.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't, because at the end goal, like, sex is really important. That's what's hard for me for not juggling different people. And I know I talked to you earlier, and I told you that I had done 2 in one day. Yeah. I did do that, but it was the worst. It was the worst experience of my life, because I wanted to. I like focusing on people.
Yeah,
I really like, and I like going into sex being like, I'm going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Now, if it takes a couple tries, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
But it's all about learning your bodies and like sharing emotion through what you're doing.
That's probably what sucks. You probably got a point about juggling, because how we just said everybody's different. If we have trouble between, you might meet one girl and talk to her 6 months, and then you may not be talking to anyone for a month or two, and then you may do another one, and you have problems with that. So just imagine doing them on the same day. You're like, oh, this technique is for her, and this technique is for her.
And
that's a lot of swapping up styles.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, man. At 22 that I am now, I've had my fair share. I think I want to get into a serious relationship.
You only did it one time, you said?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about the balance, man. It's just, like what you said, she can be insanely hot.
Yeah.
Be dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
She can be insanely good in bed. Not attractive at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. And
This is a fact.
Like, and I told you this earlier today. Virtual relationships are weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. People are on there for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, it might be a good reason, but from my experience, it's not that good of a reason.
What?
It's just...
Why do you date online? Is it just because it's easier, or...
It's a good way. I mean, I moved here, had no idea who anyone was. I didn't have any friend groups, anything like that.
How long
Luckily,
have you been here now?
4 months. 4
Oh,
months.
you're still
Yeah.
fresh.
So, I'm a Texas native.
Mm-hmm.
I know the vernacular of the land, if someone wants to say that, but like, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard going from a place that you've been for 2 years and you have a huge network of people, and then all of a sudden you're just like picked up by the ring of your neck like a dog and just dropped somewhere. And so that makes it easy, but I think we should start a movement of actually talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like,
that's a dying art.
No, it is.
It's a dying. And the thing about it, that doesn't just relate to sex. That relates to religion. That relates to political beliefs. That half of the problems that we have is lack of conversation. And one thing I started to do is I started to, like, even people that I don't agree with, I still will listen to them.
Yep.
Because even if I'm like, you know, they might open their mouth and you're like, oh, that's bullshit. But if you kind of hear it, even if you think 90% of what came out of their mouth is bullshit, you might just find something that you're like, that makes sense. I've had intelligent conversations with people that's like, yeah, I'm a devil worshiper. I didn't leave the conversation saying, cool, I'm going to do that too. But they may question things. They're like, well, why does the Bible say this? And I might say, oh, that's a good point. And, you know, I leave it there. I don't say, cool, show me how to worship the devil. I don't do that. But I just say, that's a good point you make. You know, it's a good question that you ask. And I kind of think if you look at the things that you don't believe in, you might be able to find some kind of, like, I think even, I'm a Christian, but I've heard things that Muslims said that I'm like, that makes sense. I've heard things that Buddhists said that I'm like, that makes sense. I didn't say, make me a Buddhist. I just said, that makes sense, and I might could use that. And we don't have that. I think the reason, to be honest, that everyone's beliefs are so strong is this because it's the only thing they hear and the only thing they know. And everything else that someone else says is the devil. They're like, oh, what do you think? Blah, blah. You're the devil. We won't hear that.
Yeah. Dude, I could literally rant about this forever. Had a recent experience about it.
Yeah.
But if you want me to share, I will.
Go for it. You might give us those good closing statements.
Yeah, I know. So, with the current circumstance, right? So there's a big race thing going on right now. I don't really know. I mean, I know why, but for the average American, I don't know why. Because, I mean, I can only speak from my experience and how I treat people. But we were talking earlier, you know, hooking up with random chicks, right?
Yeah.
So I found this girl, super good personality, everything like that. And obviously we were in one of those relationships where you just kind of fool around. But we did have really good talks.
Yeah.
I like to label myself as a very open person. And I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm pretty much libertarian.
Yeah.
And we were having this conversation about current events, and this was before the inauguration. This is when everything was being pushed out, back to our analytics story. And I told her, I was like, dude, I really don't see color.
Yeah.
I really don't see color. When I look at someone, I don't care what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bro out with them.
Yeah.
She told me, well, if you say you don't, she's a white girl, by the way.
Well,
If you say you don't see color, that's offensive. And she started going off on a spiel on how that's offensive. And I'm like, okay, so the demographic right now that's being offended is black Americans, right? Yeah. How the fuck are you going to tell me that that's offensive?
Yeah.
That's what you've seen
Yeah.
on the news or whatever you fucking follow. Like,
It's funny because
it's like if I said I don't see color, are you going to be offended? Like, and tell me honestly.
Me personally, no, and I'm going to tell you why. What I've heard about that, and what I'm aware of about that, is when people say I don't see color. A lot of people, how a lot of other people feel is they're like, "You're lying. You see color," and I think they're thinking of it literally. And
but it's figuratively.
Yeah, literally, of course. And then when people may even describe someone, they say, "Oh, I was at the bar with this black guy," and they're like, "Oh, you see the color." And so, but to me, when I hear that, I hear it as a description. I don't hear it as. I know some. To me, the problem with racism is the word doesn't have the meaning that it used to have. And I'm not saying it needs to get more racist so you can know the meaning. But what I'm saying is, I've seen people go to the store, someone cuts them in line, and they're like, "Oh, racism." Yeah. I'm like, it's not racism. He's probably a dickhead.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference between someone that's just a fucking dickhead and he's a racist. He may be a dickhead, but he may be a dickhead all the way around. He's just like a fucking dickhead, period.
Yeah.
Or he might be just having a fucking shitty day and he's being shitty to everybody that's in his vicinity. And then there's actual racism. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist, but I'm saying it's kind of like, "Oh, racism. Oh, somebody cut me off in traffic. Racism. Oh, racist." And that's happening so much that now I've always thought this. I'm like, to be honest, the people that are not getting racism may actually be like, "I'm confused now because I want to see it through your eyes. But now if you're telling me racism is when someone cuts you off in traffic, I don't know what to help you fight for now." You know what I mean?
Or they'll go the extreme and say, "Yeah, they're fucking racist." And I'm like, hold on, take a step back. Yeah. Like you just did.
Yeah.
Might be having a shitty day.
Yeah.
Might be a terrible driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not like, let's say they're a terrible driver. That's not racist. They're fucking stupid at driving. Yeah. Let's say a white dude cuts you off in the store.
Yeah.
They might just be stupid and don't know their surroundings.
Yeah.
Now, there are some pretty clearly racist people in this country, and it's all over the globe.
Yeah. That's a
but
fact.
I think that it's very minuscule. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna see color for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys go through because I'm not black.
Yeah.
I'm a white man.
Yeah.
But I know I've been demonized lately just because of the color of my skin. I've been demonized because I'm a ginger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dealt with that all through middle school because that was when that South Park thing came out. I have no soul.
Yeah.
Bitch, I have a fucking soul, but I was told every day that I did not have a soul. So I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Not maybe to the certain extent of the African American populace, but I understand what it means to have a certain thing about you that people focus on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then say these obscure lies about. And so, but I also think, bring it back to our analytic discussion, some black Americans that don't experience discrimination ever.
Yeah.
See the stuff that's on social media, that's on the news, and they're like, "I'm oppressed.
Yeah.
I'm oppressed."
Yeah, yeah.
It would be the same thing if I as a ginger did not receive anything in my life that was like, "You have no soul, nothing," and then I see on the news, on social media, gingers are doing this, they're doing that. I would feel oppressed, but it's like, you got to branch off, man. Live in your own life.
This is why I told you this before.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll do it if you have the spare time. If you check out Jesse Lee Peterson, this guy is really, I guess you could say, problematic. Not for me, but for a lot of people. But he basically is a black dude that challenges racism. So, and he just says like it doesn't exist, and he says things like that, and people don't want to hear this. But what he does is, and it's kind of like Joe Rogan. He interviews people, but he asks like really stupid, super simple questions.
Yeah.
but the questions are so simple that it brings a lot of deep thought to it. And so he had this group of black people on the stage, and they were going on about, racism and things of that nature. And he asked, he was like, is there racism going on? And of course everyone was like, yeah, it's going on.
Is this a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I think I've seen this dude.
And what he did is he was like, you're oppressed? And they were like, yeah. It was like, who's oppressing you? And it was like, the white man. And he was like, what's his name? And because he wanted it to get specific.
Exactly.
He was like, what's his name? And he was like, well, just the white people. He was like, who's racist? And they kept saying white people. He's like, I don't want that. He was like, who? Name a person that you know that's. And then it kind of got more quiet because it was really super specific. Yeah. And it was like, and the thing is, what I believe is, how you said with social media, I'll tell you another thing that is a lot of, and I'm not saying once again that racism doesn't exist today.
It absolutely does, yeah.
But what happens a lot is the oppression that we see on social media, and also the oppression that is not in our time frame that you just know of. That of course you're going to feel it, you're going to hear of it, you're going to know of it because it is the history. But sometimes it may not apply to you. It's kind of like people that you may not be in a gang. If you're hanging with the gang all day, you might just be like, I'm in the gang too. Yeah. You're not in it. You're just around it. So if you're hearing it all day, you're like, I'm oppressed. And he even did that. He was like, who's oppressing you? I'm oppressed. What's his name? Like, who did it? And every time he does these little things, it upsets people because they want to answer it, but you can't answer it because it's like, unless you can say, Bob Jones did it, this person did it, this person did it. And when he started asking for specific stories, some of the people were like, one time I ran the light and I got pulled over. And it was like, so you ran the light. So that's why you got pulled over. And it's like I said, once again, I know somebody's punching the TV when you're hearing this conversation, but the thing about it, there are incidents where it's like, it's clear as day. There's the George Floyd, and then there's stuff when there's people that's like, don't reach in your pocket, don't do stuff that's caused these things.
And when I've been stopped by the police, I can tell you this, when I've made a wrong move, I've been told, do not do that. Yeah. There's certain things that you just don't do. Yeah. And then when someone does it of a different color or whatever, they're like, "Oh my God, that cop was racist." Yeah. And I'm not saying that there has been anything that has not been sketchy. Yeah. I've seen a lot of footage that has been portrayed as racist that was literally just common sense. Yeah. Not saying that the George Floyd thing was common sense. Not at all. That dude's on trial. He's probably going to be in jail for forever. Yeah. But instead of making it a race thing, so like, let's say like you're like, name it. Yeah. Name it. Who is it? Yeah. And they can't name it. Yeah. Bring him to someone that is God, I fucking hate this. I hate that this is a thing. But bring him to someone that is a different color that you know is respectful and will talk to anyone, and just show them. Yeah. Look, dude, like, there's some white people, there's some black people that are racist, there's some white people that are racist, but this dude right here, he's a weird-looking person, but he's going to treat you like a normal person. And that's what I hate. That's what you need to do.
That's what I hate, because now it's getting to the point. And if you're, especially since this is audio, this is a big old cookies and cream conversation. There's chocolate in the building. There's vanilla in the building. So
I'm white as fuck. Yeah, I'm white as fuck.
There you go. Make this clear for you, everyone. Yeah. But what happens? There's like I said, it's so much overkill on it that people don't know what to think. Because it's like I said, it's just overkill. And another thing, there's a difference between, like, I think when these things happen, we can't just say everyone, like, because I don't want to be painted as all black people are bad. I don't want white people to be painted as all white people are bad. We already made it clear a couple of times that, yes, everyone's acknowledging that racism exists. We've acknowledged that. But there are people that's like, if you're white, you're the devil. If you're black, you're the devil. And I've never looked at it that way. I've always looked at it as, this guy who did this is racist. But I don't walk out the door and say, cool. When I see a white person, I'm just going to kick him in the penis. That's never, I've never had this thought in the morning.
What do you think, man?
Talk to a score. You want to kick a white person in the penis when you wake up in the morning?
Dude, kick me in the penis, man.
Nah.
Kick me in the penis right now, man. If you need to,
you good. You good.
I'm gonna tinkle while you speak.
But how I was raised, you know what I'm saying, it's no color.
No color, for sure.
No color. Everybody created equal. You know what I'm saying? You got black, white, brown, however you want to say it. Mm-hmm. They all got their own flaws. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you who you want to hang around, stuff like that. That's how I was always brought up, And, I hung out with some white people, black people, brown people. I hung around them all, but, I don't judge everybody the same. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is created the same. Like I said, everybody got their own flaws. They got their own differences. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't gonna lie, there is a couple of white people that I do want to kick in the penis.
Yeah, no shit. There's black people that want to kick in the penis. It's a couple of black ones also that want to kick in the penis. But everybody, like I said, everybody's created, different. And it depends on, like I said, it depends on if you want to hang around. You hang around who you want to hang around. You pick your own circle. You pick your own friends. You gotta learn from your mistakes.
Facts.
Some people might warn you about a certain type of person. It's up to you if you want to take heed to that.
Yeah.
Then you got some that just want to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now. So some of my closest friends, they still use the hard R. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that right now, and they're white.
Yeah.
But every time it comes out, I say,
"Whoa,
what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore."
Yeah.
And so racism still exists, absolutely. But it's on you.
Yeah.
It's on you. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, fucking yellow, whatever you want to designate yourself as. That's where you stand up and you say, hey, man, that's not wrong. I'm not telling you to go destroy targets, which is fucking crazy, right? So, the Target was a big deal. Yeah. Target was a big deal, and I thought it was funny because, why is Target the only person that you guys are... Is that the Target?
Yeah.
That's a pun.
They were targeting Target.
But it starts with you, and that's really what I did. I mean, you told me in the dog park the other day.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I don't know what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just living life, man.
Yeah.
I went to West Texas. You don't know about this, but I went to West Texas for Christmas. I live 4 hours away from home. I could have gone home. Had no idea what I was going to do. Had no idea what I was going to do in West Texas. I drove 7 hours. For my job, I'm not allowed to go over 450 miles away on a 4-day weekend, and I went 425 and bought a Motel 6. I thought I was going to camp, but I couldn't find the fucking ranch that I was supposed to camp on. But I bought a Motel 6, and I saw this van that looked different to me. It had a bunch of shoe paint on it, and so I was like, "That's fucking cool."
Yeah,
I didn't approach the people.
Yeah,
and so 2 days later, I saw them at a gas station. And I'm like, okay, I need to talk to these dudes.
Yeah.
I need to talk to them. They were a different color than me.
Yeah.
I ended up giving for free 2, 3, 4 hours of my life to just cover these dudes' story. I'm a videographer, and I learned more in that experience of me just stepping out of my comfort zone. You know, that's the key right there. Step out of your comfort zone. I learned more in 4 hours than I have in probably about the 4 years of my life. They described human. They said when I interviewed them, they were like, hue, man. Hue, the color of your skin, and then man. The way they described it was hue doesn't matter what the fuck color or hue or whatever you are, but you're still a man. And that's for females and men.
Yeah.
You're still a man. And it was fucking awesome, dude. It was a great experience because these dudes just like, I shared a Truly on the side of the road with these dudes. They gave me a bottle of water, and they just let me hang out with them. And it was like, this is what humanity looks like. Yeah. It's not like, I'm going to go on Instagram. I could go right now, and I could see proof of racism. I could see, all this oppression and all this division. I could do it all day. I saw a meme the other day where it was like the average girl goes on Instagram, goes to her search bar and sees all those videos. She can just be like, yeah, this is what, and you're just pushing messages. Yeah. Why don't you just go out and experience that for yourself? Mm-hmm. Not through the fucking lens of an Instagram or a Facebook. So that's what I did. And those dudes are some of the good best friends that I've ever met in my life. We still talk. We talk on the phone. I'm like, hey man, they were biking across the country. I was like, hey, how are you doing? Like, are you doing good? Do you need me to send you some money? Like, whatever you need. Because they were doing it all donation based, and I support them. Yeah. And so, me as a white man, am I racist? No. Absolutely fucking not. And that's what I need to get into people's head, because it's kind of like switched from like whenever the white man was oppressing the black man, but it's kind of switched from like white people are the meme. We're going to say they're white. They're doing something white. And it's like, all right, dude, I didn't grow up whenever you were being like oppressed. Mm-hmm. I'm just a human, dude. Yeah. Some of my brothers that are white might be different, but for the majority of us, like, we don't care. We just want to experience life.
With social media, with the media in general, because whatever happens, it's going to be titled "White Skinhead KKK Man," and it's going to be titled "Black Rapper with Gold Teeth Smacks a Woman."
Black man gets killed by white cop. Why the fuck is that even a thing? Yeah, so man gets killed by cop. Yeah. That's what it should read.
So with it saying that, you're triggered before you even get to the
fuck
story.
Yeah, you are.
You're triggered before you watch the video. It's already, you're like, what? They did what? And half the time you're upset before you even know the details of it. And not saying this should happen, and I guess, all cases are different, but you just see that and you're pissed off the rip. You're pissed off and you're like, I don't even know what happened, but this is uncalled for. Absolutely. So the crazy thing, nobody's doing what you're saying. Nobody's just getting to know people and knowing them for individual. Like I've known people that, like how you said, other people that talk differently, or other people that feel certain ways, but that doesn't mean that's how you think.
I will have an intellectual conversation with them. I won't debate them. Yeah. I'll just listen to them.
Yeah. And this is, like, I seen this a long time ago, especially the way the world is now. I remember Oprah had this guy that he was swearing, F black people and all this stuff. Fast forward, they ran his DNA, and he had black in him as well. Yeah. It wasn't a high percent because it was a white man, but he had like 6% or something, which I did my in Ancestry.com, and I've popped up with Swedish and European and things like. So it's crazy because to some degree, all the shit that air quotes everyone hates, it's a part of you somewhere. It may be a small percent, but it's my grandma was half white, so I'm sure somebody in your family's mixed score. Like I have I got cousins that, like, I have a black cousin that married a Mexican dude, and she was half Mexican herself, and then she married a Mexican dude, so her kids look pure Mexican. So it's even funny when people, like, when I show people and they're like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "It's my cousin." They're like, "What?"
Dude,
I think they're like Gomez or like, it's my actual real cousin.
I think of a skit. Was it Dave Chappelle that did the blind racist?
Yeah.
All right, so you look at that, right? So he's a black man.
Yeah.
He's in the KKK. And they follow him. They look at him as like a leader, but they don't know he's black.
Yeah.
Dude, if I was blind and all I could rely on is what people tell me, maybe I'd be fucking white going to BLM and Antifa protests and being like, yo, like, this shit's fucking wrong. I'm black.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the world are not blind.
Yeah.
But they're acting blind, man.
They're doing it on choice. It's a choice.
It's a choice. And so Dave Chappelle, that was a great skit. Mm-hmm. Like a black man in the KKK. Yeah. But people literally that can see, hear, smell, everything, they're blind as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like experiencing the world is how you're going to open your figurative eyes.
What I'm going to leave everybody with, ask simple questions. Just how I told you. Like, and if y'all check this guy out on YouTube, I will tell you this, like, I'm not telling you that I agree with everything that comes out of his mouth. Because another thing that we have a problem with now is if you agree with something, like one thing that somebody says, they think that you're all the way over there. You know, you could just
Absolutely,
say, you know, I've had conversations and somebody say, hey, when Trump said this, it made sense. And they say, oh, MAGA. And it's like, no, I didn't say that. I just said that particular comment made sense. And like, I
listened to Key Glock.
Yeah.
I heard your fucking outro at the dog park bar. I was like, that's Key Glock. I'm like, that's who that is. Like, I am culturally diffused. Like, I know all these different people.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking racist.
There's a man of class right there. So with that being said, sometimes you got to put Key Glock on your playlist. Sometimes you got to put Hall & Oates. Just have some class. I'm going to sit back here and enjoy the rest of my beverages with my chocolate and my vanilla brethren and my light-skinned dog. Y'all have a blessed night. Anybody got any shout-outs? Do you got anything that you're promoting? Anything?
Hey, I'm promoting get the fuck out of your fucking house.
Yeah.
And experience someone different than you. It doesn't have to be color, race. I pick up homeless people off the side of the street and take them to Chick-fil-A. Like, put yourself out of fucking comfort zones. Yeah. I have my weapon on me. If I have to use it, I will. But I trust people, and I just experience something different than you.
Yeah. Facts. You got anything, Squirt?
Oh, man. It was a 5 episode, as you love, we see.
All the 5.
Like to give a personal shout out to Mr. Skywalker himself for coming through, dropping some knowledge.
Gospel.
Some knowledge. Yes, people. We're not ashamed to have no race. We not racist on this podcast.
Fuck no, you're not.
We're going to clear this up. We is not racist.
Exactly.
We invite all people of all races and all colors.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to clear that out. Right then.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm the whitest person that you guys have probably ever dealt with. I have Birkenstocks on. I have a North Face on. And I have my hair parted. Like, I'm literally the whitest motherfucker up.
Hit us with a comb over.
You know what I'm saying? We tell our guests, you know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Come comfortable. You know. We don't judge. There's no judgment on this podcast. As Planet Fitness would say. No judgment zone. This is a no judgment podcast.
As the ladies would call it, Planet Dickness.
You know what I'm saying? Give a shout out to my lady. You know what I'm saying? She's out of town. Hope she has a safe travels back. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the listeners. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Friday, who is knocked out right now.
Unconscious.
As you might have heard in the previous beginning of the episode.
Chewing on shit.
You know what I'm saying? Give a shout out to all the children around the board, especially mine. She has a big birthday coming up.
Boom.
On the 25th. She turned 7 years old.
There you go. That offspring.
Yeah. Give a shout out to all the new guests that will be appearing this year. I'm gonna throw that out there. We got a big lineup for 2021. We got a big
I'm booked
lineup.
up all month, to be honest.
We got a big lineup that's coming throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give any more details on it. You just have to wait and see what the Velvet Vibes podcast is gonna bring for 2021.
I'm talking to some folks, bitch.
Hey, we doing bigger and better things than we did last year. Even though this pandemic slowed us down last year, but it's not gonna slow us down this year.
Exactly. It just gave me time to eat a couple of grilled cheeses. With that being said, make sure to hit me up 100%velvet@gmail.com. I accept all hate mail. I accept all love mail. If you want to call me that, tell me that I'm a punk ass son of a bitch. Make sure to let me know. If you want to buy some merch, make sure to do that. If you want to just send me a picture of a middle finger, make sure to do that as well. That's always welcome to. Hot music on the way. You know how we do. We're actually here in the studio right now. When we turn this podcast off, we're stepping right off in the booth to express ourselves, and we're going to be drunk as a bitch. So with that being said, go ahead and prepare to turn this off. If you're listening naked, reach over to your right or your left and touch someone's genitalia. Make sure that it's an approved genitalia touched. I'm not escorting you guys to jail. I don't want your family to call 911 and say that I told you to do it. With that being said, shout out to your daddy, and a shout out to your
mama.